You know that feeling when you're about to add another guitar to your collection, but a part of you is just waiting for that moment when you open the case and wonder if it's actually the right fit for the kind of music you play? You've probably spent a few evenings scrolling through forums, reading the occasional forum thread about acoustic-electric guitars, and maybe even watching a couple of demo videos that look great on camera but leave you questioning whether the instrument will actually hold up under the everyday rigors of your own playing style. It's that hesitation that makes you pause. I don't want to waste money on the wrong thing, you think, especially when you know there are so many options out there, from boutique luthiers to mass-produced models that claim to be stage-ready. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In the next few minutes I'm going to walk through the Martin GPC 16E Grand Performance Acoustic-Electric Guitar, explore why it might be the sweet spot for some players, and point out the scenarios where you'd probably be wiser to look elsewhere. Think of this as the kind of conversation you'd have with a friend who's already tried the guitar in a rehearsal room, a coffeehouse gig, and a Sunday jam session all before you decide whether it earns a place in your own gear rack. First off, let's talk about the context of the instrument. The GPC 16E lives in the niche where a full-size, concert-type acoustic meets a built-in pickup system that's meant to make plugging into an amp or a PA as painless as clicking a button on a pedal board. For a lot of players, especially those who split their time between intimate acoustic sets and larger, amplified venues, that hybrid flexibility can be a real game-changer. The guitar's spruce top, mahogany back and sides, and hardwood neck are all hallmark materials you'd expect from a Martin, and they're paired with an ebony fingerboard that gives a slightly brighter attack, something that can help the instrument cut through a mix when you're playing live. The satin natural finish isn't just about looks, it also adds a bit of low-key grip that some players find helpful when they're switching between chords and lead lines in a live setting. Who should consider this guitar? If you're a gigging folk rock player who already owns a solid-body electric and wants an acoustic that can be amplified without an external preamp, the GPC 16E is built for that workflow. Its built-in pickup is tuned for a balanced, natural acoustic tone, so you won't have to fight with a harsh, overly bright sound that can happen on cheaper acoustic-electric hybrids. The pickup system also has a 9-voltage preamp that works well with standard PA rigs, which means you can walk on stage, plug into the house mix, and get a consistent sound without needing a separate acoustic preamp box. That can be a huge time saver for a small band that doesn't want to lug around extra gear. If you're the kind of player who primarily does bedroom practice or home recording, you'll also appreciate the guitar's resonance. The spruce top provides a lively low-end response that fills a small room nicely, while the mahogany back adds warmth and depth that you'd otherwise need a larger body to achieve. The ebony fingerboard's slick feel can be forgiving on longer sessions, especially if you're doing fingerstyle pieces that demand precise fretting. In short, the instrument can comfortably sit in a home studio, a coffeehouse open mic, or a mid-size club without feeling out of place. Now, let's get into the practical strengths that matter after the purchase. One thing that stands out in real-world use is how quickly the guitar settles into its own voice. Because it's built with solid wood rather than laminated veneers, the tonal character evolves over the first few weeks as the wood responds to humidity and playing dynamics. That means the moment you first strike a chord, the sound is already rich, but after a couple of months of regular playing, the guitar develops a slightly more rounded timbre that many seasoned players praise as maturing. That progression is something you don't get from a lot of entry-level acoustic electrics that are stuck with a static tone from day one. The pickup system, while not a fully customizable preamp, is surprisingly transparent. When you plug into a basic PA, the instrument retains its acoustic character without the typical scooped mid-range you'd hear on cheaper models. In practical terms, this translates into a cleaner, more natural sound on stage, which means you can be confident that the chord voicings you hear on a dry acoustic amp are the same ones you hear through the house mix. That reliability can be a lifesaver when you're playing with a band and need to blend seamlessly. For players who travel often, the guitar's weight and ergonomics are worth mentioning. The GPC 16E isn't a featherweight, but the balance feels comfortable even after an hour of playing. The satin finish, aside from its tactile benefits, also hides fingerprints and smudges better than high-gloss finishes.